Okay, welcome everybody. Welcome to the SNEPA Oiler Zoom webinar. We are so happy to be with you this evening. For those of you that don't know me, my name is Melissa Russo and I will be your MC for the evening. And I'm so excited that we're all together to share. It's going to be a great class. Just a little housekeeping. I already told you guys about the mute buttons and the chat at the bottom. And at the end, we definitely will have a sharing time and a time to ask questions, as well as you could utilize that chat feature. And for those of you that don't know me, I just wanted to briefly share that my passion is sharing empowering information. I work with Young Living, and I also have an educational nonprofit, Yoga Journeys. And the message of both is an empowering lifestyle. It's not just the oils with Young Living, it's not just the yoga with Yoga Journeys, it's an entire lifestyle where we're eating healthy, where we're exercising, we're eating whole foods, we're taking responsibility for our emotions and learning tools for stress and things like that. And luckily, Young Living has a lot of products that support that for myself, for our friends and family. And that's what we're going to be exploring tonight. I'm grateful for the tools and the products that support our goals. And Young Living has really taken my health and wellness to the next level. And I can't wait for you to hear from all the mothers you'll meet on the call tonight. So let's get started. I'm just going to share my screen. Oh, share screen. Good. Okay. Great. So today we're going to be exploring essential oils for our children and children with special needs. What you can expect is we're going to talk about using oils at different times of the process, from pregnancy, when your children are babies, to toddlers, and we're going to address special needs that our kids might have. We're also going to be focusing on recommendations to support behavior and focus, neuromuscular movement, nutrition, brain support, digestive support. And as I mentioned earlier, this really is a lifestyle. So we're going to be talking about reducing toxins in our environment and the importance of that, as well as nutrition and Young Living products to support all of your wellness goals. So we are going to get started by meeting our amazing hosts. Patty McLean, April Redfield, Lauren Hubert, and Tara McAuliffe. So they're each going to introduce themselves. And Patty, would you like to go first?
I would love to. Hi, everybody. My name is Patty McLean. I'm a Young Living Silver, and I am super passionate about empowering others with natural wellness, just letting them know that there are things to support themselves, especially for stress management, but the whole mind, body, spirit connection is what I got out of Young Living. But I'm also someone who is very new to this. It wasn't until this little guy was born that I even paid attention to things like environmental toxins, and he's very sensitive. So he wants to introduce himself, because if it wasn't for him, I wouldn't be here. So I tell them what your name is.
I'm Ian McLean.
And show them your favorite oil.
Lavender.
And I'm going to hand it over to Lauren, because she has one of the best, most inspirational stories I've heard in my whole time with Young Living. So I'm so excited that she's here with us, and she's going to tell you a little bit more about her and her journey now too.
Oh, definitely unmute yourself, Lauren. Yeah, perfect.
All right, can you hear me? Okay. Hi. So I'm Lauren, and I'm a mom of a 10-year-old boy named Connor who has autism, and he's my whole life. He's the reason I'm here tonight. And honestly, he's taught me more about anything than I could ever teach him. He's just such an inspiration and a hero to me. And he does have special needs, so that is what kind of drew me to Young Living and essential oils. And I'm very passionate about that. I'm passionate about helping other people and helping people help themselves, and anything with mental health I love. So it all kind of like comes together. and I'm just super excited to be doing this with Melissa and Patty and everyone else.
Awesome. So should we go to April next?
Sorry, April.
I'll definitely unmute yourself, April.
Okay.
Yeah. And Lauren, yeah.
Here I am. Hear me okay? All right, so my name's April, and I have two biological daughters, as you see in the picture, and we also do foster care. So at this point, we have a little boy. So that, in and of itself, is a very interesting journey, and we need a lot of stress management, and we need a lot of things to help uplift us emotionally. So we do that. We use our oils for that. But another thing that I use oils for is kind of is the holistic health. If you knew me a few years back, you would know I was the most hypochondriacal mother probably on the planet. I was afraid of every bug coming down the pike, and I would always go to the worst case scenario. So we would end up, in the hospital or even worse if something happened. But in using my oils, I've been able to settle my brain down. But I understand that it's not necessarily the microbe you get, it is the terrain in which the microbe comes. So if you even get a bug, if you have the proper terrain in your body, that is how strong the bug will be. Plus there's so many wonderful plant-based medicinals that can be used to and strengthen that immune system. So I am no longer a hypochondriac. I'm actually very, very chill and calm. And I'm like, oh, the stomach bug's going around? No problem. Oh yeah, bronchitis? Nope, no problem at all. I got it under control. So it's helped me settle myself and settle my children, and they've been a huge blessing in our life. Back to you.
Awesome. Tara McAuliffe.
Hi, everybody. Welcome tonight. I feel so blessed to be able to be here. Can you hear me okay? We're good? Okay. I am an oily mom of 3. I have a 1-year-old, a 4-year-old, and my bonus baby is 15. And I am and have always been interested in alternative things, but I have been really passionate in the past couple years of sharing choices, of letting people know that they have choices, because so many people don't know that. So that's choices in health, choices in wellness, and even choices in abundance. And I believe that when we are able to make better choices for our family, it starts with our family and can ripple outward. We can impact generations to come, and we can change the world. I was introduced to Young Living about 4 years ago, actually coming up on my anniversary. And believe it or not, my 4-year-old was an oiler before me. Melissa's going to tell that story. But he was the first oiler in our family, and about 2 months later, I caught on. And I now can say that Young Living and the products, they infuse every facet of our lifestyle. And we will, I'll be sharing a little bit about that later on, but that's me.
Awesome. Thank you, Tara. And I saw that Megan Feliciani is on the call. Her schedule changed, so she's able to be with us tonight as well. So Megan, can you introduce yourself?
I can. Can you hear me? Okay. I'm Megan Feliciani, and I was supposed to be at a financial workshop tonight, but after getting so excited about this call today, I figured I could reschedule it. They have it once a month anyway, so I'll go in February. But I was not always an oiler. I'm in my 4th year, but I didn't always want to do the business. I, like everybody else on the call, got involved because of my little guy, Albert, who's already in bed. We had a tough day skiing yesterday, so he's hopefully sleeping by now. But when he was 1.5 years, we spent a couple nights in the emergency room because he took febrile seizures. And what I realized was I wasn't taking care of myself or supporting my immune system, because I was a high school teacher at the time, and I would bring home different things and his body didn't know how to react to them. So I found out about lots of different oils that we're going to talk about tonight. I don't want to jump ahead and, give anything away. but by learning how to support ourselves, our immune systems, and really take on this whole lifestyle of wellness, he hasn't had one. He's a healthy, thriving 5.5-year-old little boy. So I'm excited for tonight and to see how this class goes. So that's my on-the-fly introduction.
Awesome. Fantastic. I'm so excited that you could be with us today. All right. So if anyone was a speaker, just check to make sure that you're muted in the lower left corner. And we're going to get started. So as we get started, I just wanted to make the obligatory disclaimer that we're not here to treat, diagnose, prescribe any diagnosable illness. We're just talking about the oils supporting ourselves so we could have the highest level of wellness that we are meant to have. And as we talk today about using essential oils to support our wellness goals, I want to say that we're only talking about Young Living essential oils. Essential oils are everywhere at this point, and they're in grocery stores. They're at some of my favorite outlets for shopping. And even if they say they're 100% pure, or even if they're labeled organic, that doesn't mean that they're not synthetic or adulterated, because they're still regulated by the perfume industry. So it is so important, and you'll see as we talk, that you know where your oils come from, and we'll talk about why. So Patty is now going to talk to us about why Young Living is different, why we're choosing to use these oils, and they're safe for ourselves and our family. And I'm going to pass it over to you, Patty.
Melissa, are you going to put the PowerPoint back up? Sorry, I am going to talk about Seed to Seal, but we have an awesome visual for this one, so I'm going to have Melissa switch the screen back over for you and get us to the Seed to Seal slide there. Okay, if your screen looks like mine and you have all of our pictures going down the right-hand side, you can change that view at the top there, where you could just show one person, or you can show it so you can't see anybody, you could just see the screen. So play around with that a little bit until it's not covering where you're looking. And so the big thing that sets Young Living apart, I started using these, like I said, when Ian was little, and I was a big nerd and I had to learn everything, and I was like, oh, there's all these companies, how do I choose? And this right here, this slide is exactly why I choose Young Living and why I will never use any other oils, because they're the only company that has the entire seed to seal process, which just means that they have the highest level of integrity and authenticity when it comes to everything. They won't use soil that's ever been treated by chemicals. They make sure that the seeds are the highest quality. Everything is cultivated with standards that go way beyond organic. They distill all their own oils, and obviously they bottle them, and they come right to us through this process that is fully controlled. And the best part of it for me, and what caused me to be a really passionate oiler, was this summer when I got to go participate in this process firsthand. And that was completely amazing for me, because I got to plant the seeds, I got to see the distillery, I got to do everything, and no other company will allow you to be a part of that. So it's amazing. And Seed to Seal is definitely why I Young Living. Okay, I'm sorry. You can give him another one. My German Shepherd is also an oiler. That's going to be another talk, but I don't know if you can see him. He keeps trying to get in here. Every time I'm on Zoom, the dog wants to be part of it. So I just asked Ian to go get him some healthy treats. And Melissa, you can go back to the next slide, because I'm going to talk about how to use the oil. So now that you know that they're the most pure oils, that you only want to use Young Living, there are 3 ways to use the essential oils. And as we get into the slides about pregnancy and kids, we're going to talk about which methods are better at what stages. But in general, the three ways to use essential oils are aromatically, which you can see the amazing Aria diffuser in that picture there. But you don't have to have a fancy diffuser to use them aromatically. You could actually just even use them on a cotton ball or an unbleached coffee filter, but that's just the aromatherapy. What people normally think of when they think of essential oils is getting that aromatic effect. We use cool water diffusers with our oils because we don't want to heat them up and change the molecular structure, because that takes away some of the therapeutic benefits. The other way that we can use essential oils is topically, and that is one of my favorite ways, and Ian's. So you can just take a drop and apply it directly to your skin and get that benefit. And especially oils like lavender that support the skin are great. And once you apply it topically, you can also get the aromatic benefits. So they're multi-purpose and very versatile. The third way that I'm going to talk about is the ingestion of the essential oils. And due to new regulations, we actually have special labels for the oils that we ingest. They're called the Vitality line. So those labels are white as opposed to the more colorful ones. So with the Vitality line, you can ingest them either in a beverage or straight, which is really intense sometimes, because 1 drop of peppermint oil is the equivalent of 23, a lot of bags of peppermint tea. This is nodding. I threw my statistic off there, but it's a whole lot of peppermint tea. And so since they're so potent, when you're ingesting them, you'll get that full effect. And so those are the 3 ways, but as we go forward, we're going to talk about different recommendations for different oils and some safety precautions as well.
All right, so here I am again, and we're going to start off by talking about some of the most enjoyable singles and blends that mothers and babies can use as we start at the very beginning during pregnancy. Here's a beautiful list of some of the wonderful blends that Young Living has, and I also recommend, am I up on the little screen? I'm not sure. Okay, good. I also recommend this book for moms. It's called Gentle Babies, and by Deborah Rayburn. It's a phenomenal reference book. So we're going to go over a lot of the basics here, but this is just unbelievable for just helping you, not just working with babies and children, but during your pregnancy, during labor and delivery as well. So a lot of these oils are also, a lot of moms report when they're using them, they actually could feel a positive response from their baby. And you'll notice that I made lavender all in capital letters, and this is why. I want to stop the screen for just a second. When we go back to seed to seal and knowing where our oils come from, this is one of the examples, because often lavandin is labeled as lavender. It smells the same. It smells very similar, and it's often mislabeled. And since lavandin, as you'll see in the next screen, is one of the oils that you want to avoid, it's just one example of why you want to know where your oils come from. And because Young Living has their own farms, and you could see the process from the plant being grown to harvested to how it's distilled to get maximum potency, to the purity and the testing of the bottling, you could feel really comfortable using these oils for, this is one of the reasons, because I'm going to share my screen one more time, because you'll see as we go to the next slide, there are oils that you might want to avoid. This is a list that is from the Gentle Babies book. However, many women in our Young Living community have used these oils throughout pregnancy, because there may have been some problems reported in the past, but that is with non-therapeutic grade adulterated oils that are synthetic and of poor quality. And so many moms in our Young Living community use Many of these oils have used all of these oils at different cases when you know how to use them, why to use them, and when to use them, because it's usually an issue of quality. However, I am very conservative. So if you are conservative like me, then just avoid these. Not a big deal, but just know that this is usually a quality issue and a common sense issue. So the book Clinical Aromatherapy, Doctor of Nursing Jane Buckle does report that there has been no abnormal pregnancies, fetuses, or aborted fetuses due to the inhalation, topical use, or even essential oils taken by mouth. So this is a whole other story working with Young Living in this quality. And if you were part of the animal aromatherapy talk, we talked about the same thing, because lavender is also not good and could be toxic to small pets. Also, lavender is often grown with camphor, and camphor isn't good for small pets. So that's why Young Living in the seed seal is so important. Feel comfortable about using these oils, and don't take it from me, take it from these awesome moms that you're going to be hearing throughout this phone call. This list of recommended oils for children include and are definitely not limited to this list. And you'll see that I outlined the ones in purple and pink and underlined them to show the oils that are in your starter kit. Because I know we have a lot of new oilers on the call, and this could all be overwhelming with this huge list of blends. But these oils, and we'll be talking about them as we go through oils to support the muscular system and the immune system and the respiratory system. We'll talk about them. But the frankincense, lavender, thieves, lemon, tea tree, RC, stress away, digize, these are all in your starter kit, and we're going to talk about how to use them. All right, and Young Living also makes it really easy because we have specific blends that are just for kids. Like these are the little Kid Sense blends. Owie, Sleepy Eyes, Sniffle Ease. I mean, how cute are these? And then Lauren's going to be talking a little bit more particularly about the Reconnect Kit as we go through the presentation. The Reconnect oil, the In Touch oil, Sleepy Eyes is also in here, and the Genius. So we have a lot to cover. Get excited. And I'm going to pass this on to, I'm going to pass this on to April right now, because she is going to talk about one of her favorite oils, Gentle Baby.
All right, unmuted, sound good? All right, this here, you see that Gentle Baby, is a favorite of mine because it is a favorite of my children's. This oil smells phenomenal. I wish I could just give you a little smell of that, but unfortunately can't do that through Zoom. The reason I love that is once again, the smell is phenomenal, but also it has very uplifting and relaxing qualities to it. So my favorite way to use Gentle Baby, and I have a few ways and I'll touch on them, but my favorite way is a nice bonding massage with my girls. And I say that because I know all of us probably have the same feelings. It's so busy. Life is so fast, man, with school and after school activities and church activities and making dinner. By the end of the night, I feel so disconnected with my girls. And so one way I've decided we're going to try is through massage. And the reason I like massage is it incorporates 4 of the senses. And the more senses you can get in to what you're doing, the more internal it becomes. So you have the major ones would be touch and smell. And those 2 together are just, I'm going to go do that right after this. I'm going to go give them a nice little foot massage with Gentle Baby. But then you also have hearing as you're speaking to one another, and sight. So they're seeing mommy and I'm seeing them. So 4 of the senses are getting used, and really putting that connection and that memory into their bodies, and it's settling their nervous system down, and it's settling my nervous system down, because I think as parents we understand there's nothing greater than the connection with your kids. I'm getting teary-eyed. I gotta stop. I'm gonna start crying. But let me read to you the ingredients in Gentle Baby, and maybe you can get an idea of what I'm talking about. So I'm gonna read through my reference manual. It is geranium, rosewood, coriander, palmarosa, lavender, ylang ylang, roman chamomile, lemon, jasmine and rose. And every single one of those oils is amazing also for skin. So for pregnant women, it is recommended to rub it on your stomach to help reduce stretch marks. And I like it for a facial oil. And you kill two birds with one stone, because I use jojoba oil as my base and put some drops, and I'm, helping the elasticity and the wrinkles on my skin, but it also smells amazing. So when I go out, people are like, what is that? I'm like, no perfume, no chemicals. It's a blend called Gentle Baby. Only floral essence. Like that, the fact that God made flowers and they smell that amazing, to me is still blows my mind. So, okay. So I use it on my skin. I use it as a perfume. I use it to massage my kiddos. And I also like it for their bath. If I can sense that they are just a little too wired and they need some settling, lavender is a great one too, but Gentle Baby is nice too, to mix with some Epsom salts, put in a bath, let them soak, bring it down, girls, bring it down. And eventually I can sense that they are just settled, and that makes a settled mommy. So we're all settled. Those are ways I love my Gentle Baby, and I wish you could smell it. That's the kicker.
You're amazing, April. Awesome. Well, that is just a perfect transition into Patty, who's going to talk about how to use the oils and some of the most common ways to use the oils with kids.
I love that so much, April. I obviously have been oiling my little guy forever, and I don't think that I put it together that I was like connecting all those senses at the same time, but you're so right. I have a very similar routine, and it's such a big part of our connection. So I mentioned earlier when I was talking about the 3 ways to use the oils that diffusing is one of the most common ways to use it, and Young Living makes it even more fun to diffuse for kids, because now we have fun diffusers that are made for kids. So there's a dino diffuser and a horse diffuser and an underwater sea diffuser, and they're so much fun. But you don't need one of those. Like I said, the regular home diffusers are amazing. But really, you just need to put a couple drops of your favorite oil into a cold water diffuser and just diffuse for 10 or 20 minutes. It doesn't take forever to feel the amazing effects and get the support that we need from the essential oils. And as April just described so beautifully, we can also apply them topically. And Ian was getting a little sleepy. He was going to share this part with you, but it's really important when using the oils topically on kids to use carrier oil. So you can use Young Living's V6 oil and organic vegetable oil. We love coconut oil because it's magic, the magic oil, because it starts out solid and goes liquid. So the ratio that they recommend here is 1 part oil per 30 parts carrier oil. Honestly, that's a little more diluted than I use on my guy now, but he's sort of big. And that's also great for sensitive skin. It depends on where you're applying it. So you can dilute, especially if you're applying topically to a sensitive area. But the bottoms of the feet are one of our favorite places. Ian loves to get his oils on his feet. Maybe it's that foot massage April was just talking about. But I put them actually neat, undiluted on the bottom of his feet a lot of times, especially gentle oils like Gentle Babies or lavender. For some of the hot oils, that is one of the things that I wanted to talk about this part. There are a few oils that might feel like cause a warming sensation when applied topically. Thieves might be one of them. Actually, last night, I just posted this in our NEPA Oilers group. Last night, he had a little tingle from Dijais. So any of the oils that cause a warming sensation, you want to make sure that you have that carrier oil to dilute it. Never use water to dilute an oil, or if there's an uncomfortable sensation, because that will actually intensify it. And oregano is another oil that we use regularly in our house for immune support, and he likes that on the bottoms of his feet, and he loves that it smells like pizza, but oregano is another hot oil, and sometimes when he drags his foot down his leg, he feels that sensation and just asks for the coconut oil. So I love this indication on the slide here. It says having a dropper full of carrier oil handy is always helpful, and obviously you want to make sure that you don't put it in your eyes or ears or any place that is sensitive on a grown-up is going to be extra sensitive for kids. And here's some more favorites that April covered, but baths are huge here. My little guy loves his lavender baths. The Epsom salt is important because it actually helps the oil blend in. If not, it'll just kind of float to the top. I learned that the hard way. I was like just dumping water in the bath, and I'm like, why is it just floating there? So the Epsom salts are awesome for kind of stirring that together, and this is a great little recipe. You can even make these ahead of time. I love to make them as gifts for people, actually. Everybody loves a little essential oil bath salt. So you can just take some Epsom salt, some non-refined salt, a couple drops of your favorite oil, and just throw that into a warm bath, and it's amazing. And it's not just for kids, so try this yourself. It's also great for moms. And one of the best ways we can support our kids, as April pointed out, is to make sure we're taking care of ourselves. So the better care we take of ourselves, the more we can take care of the kids. So make sure you incorporate some of these practices into your own life, especially massage, because this is good for bonding and digestive support, neuromuscular support, skin health, and that is just taking your blend of diluted oils, the oil and the carrier oil, into your hands, and just make sure that you create a good practice out of relaxing. And last but not least, you can actually create some of your own homemade ointments by using Young Living's rose ointment and allowing that to cool. And you can just put it into little small glass jars with essential oils, so of your choice again, and let that cool. And again, this is a great gift idea. So all of these things that you can make for your kids, it's a great way to share your love for Young Living with other people too, is just to let them experience all of this.
Thank you so much, Patty. As I transition to Tara, I just wanted to tell a little story because I had just started oiling when her first son, Ronan, was born. And just like Patty said, it's so fun to share with the people you care about. I couldn't wait to do something special for him. Because I had looked in this book about pregnancy and birth, and I had seen that it's traditional when a child is born to use frankincense, to use myrrh. They recommended valor. So I diluted some I went over and I asked permission, and I diluted some frankincense with some, just got some olive oil from the kitchen. I rubbed it in my hands. I put it on the bottoms of his feet. I couldn't believe how special it was. I recently married somebody because we got our minister licenses as part of the holistic ministry ordination, and a friend asked me to marry them, and I'm like, oh yeah, sure. But I didn't realize the connection I would have with them. It was so beautiful. I was not expecting that. And it was the same thing when I anointed Ronan's feet. We put frankincense in the bottoms of his feet and on the crown of his head, and a little valor on the bottoms of his feet, and a little myrrh oil on his umbilical cord. And this is traditionally what has been done for thousands of years. So that's what Tara meant when she said that Ronan, her firstborn, was oiling before she did. So Tara, I'm going to pass this on over to you for you to take us to the next portion of our presentation.
All right, well, thank you. Yes, that's exactly what I meant. And if any of you know Melissa, you know that when she asks things like that, you just say yes. I had no idea what she was like, can I anoint your son with frankincense and myrrh? And I was like, sure, yeah, okay. Like, I didn't know what she was doing or anything like that, but I knew if it was Melissa, it was going to be good. So, there you have it. All right, 2 months later, Melissa actually came and sat down on my living room floor and gave me a real presentation. And by real presentation, she passed me bottles of oil. I was like, check this out, smell this, try this. And then she left me with a DVD actually about the Thieves line, which totally blew my mind. Okay, so here's the thing. As new moms, I am imagining most of us on here are moms at some point, because that's why we're here, or dads, and we do a lot of reading and research and you know, before all of this happens, we're trying to figure out like, okay, what are the best choices? What do I want to do next? I'm going to bring a living being into this world and I don't know what to do. So we do a lot of research, and in that research, I was discovering a lot of different things. First of all, you know, you get a lot of advice, like don't wear perfumes around the baby because they can be sensitive. It can be bad for them. Be careful what you clean with because there's chemicals on the floor and they're going to be crawling on the floor, and that's not good for them to breathe in or to touch or to do anything like that. Be careful of this and be careful of that. And you go, well, wait a second, like why all of this like intensity over this at this moment? Why aren't we intense about this all the time? So this journey led me to discover some fairly alarming facts, and I'm going to give this a try here, sharing my screen. The facts that I was in particular shocked by, and I share on a regular basis, are that in our food and personal care products, so shampoos, conditioners, makeup, all of that, there are over 80,000 synthetic chemicals that can be in use in our stuff that we can come in contact with. And only 200 of those have ever been tested for safety, okay? 0 have been tested for how they interact with each other. And I don't know about you, but I use more than one product a day. I don't just brush my teeth. I brush my teeth, I wash my hair, I wash my face, I put makeup on, I do, you know, all of these things. So we don't know how they're interacting with each other. And 0 have been tested on childhood development. So this really startled me, and is a particular passion of mine to help people understand the potential effects of this. Like, yes, it is possible that many of these are benign and they're safe and they're just, you know, they're created in a lab, but it's all right. But it's also possible that many, many, many of these things could be causing all kinds of problems. The point is, we don't know. We haven't tested it. They haven't been around long enough for us to see what the ramifications are. But I would bet you that there are a number of people in this group, and there are a number of people that we know outside of this group tonight who are starting to wonder a little bit about certain things that are going on in the world and how that might be connected to a lot of the chemicals in our life. So the slide that is up here is just, I mean, it's barely touching the surface of this. But for example, you know, there's the umbilical cord study from 2005. They found over 200 chemicals in umbilical cord blood. That first piece of life from the mother to the baby is filled with synthetic chemicals that shouldn't be there. So this is just my, you know, this is why I'm very passionate about it, because we don't know what it's doing. Our exposure to this really can affect a lot of us in the future, and I think that we need to stop and take a step back. And this is part of why, when Melissa introduced me to Thieves and Young Living in general, I was all in. Up until that point, I really had no idea what essential oils were. I knew that they made things smell nice, but I didn't have any particular interest in them. It was Thieves Cleaner that I was particularly fascinated by. So based on all of my research and the worry over what was going in our bodies, what we were surrounding ourselves with, I had already switched to green. But when I watched the little video on Thieves, and I learned about how this wasn't just a green cleaner, it wasn't just natural, it wasn't just safe, it also helped supported mine and my family's immune system, my dog, my cat, my baby, like all of our immune systems while we're using it. And then afterwards, if we're crawling on the floor and we're breathing that in, we're absorbing it in our skin, I thought, this is pretty incredible. I want me some of that, okay? I want some of that Thieves. And so it was really at that point that I dove in with Young Living. So, and I want to share just two. Melissa already mentioned These are two books that I rely on heavily with Young Living. One is The Gentle Babies that she talked about. The other one is Chemical Free Home. I don't know if you can see that very well. Chemical Free Home. There are 3 little booklets of these. These are by Melissa Pepping, and the third edition is all about babies and children. This one is a little bit newer, but I love it, and this gives you tons and tons of recipes. So these are some books that I rely on that have helped me in this journey and start to infuse these into my lifestyle. I just want to, just because it's on this slide, I just want to touch upon it before I go to the next one, is one of the sections that talks about applying oils at night. And at night is really important because it's when the body cleanses itself, and it's when the body removes some of these toxins that we come across. So if we're not getting enough sleep, if we're not getting the right kind of sleep, our body can't do that, and this is what we're seeing can lead to some of the problems if we can't actually cleanse our body and remove these toxins. So applying oils at night to children is a really, really great way to support them, to help support their sleep, but also help with that cleansing. So a little bit back to my story. I just wanted to touch upon that because that's on the slide, but a little bit back to my story. That June, so I was introduced when my son was 2 months old to Young Living in January. That June, I decided I'm going to convention. Our Young Living convention was in Utah that year. I wanted to see the heart of the company. I wanted to know that I knew that this was who the company was, who they say they were, and they are. They're amazing. Talk to me another time. I could go on for a very long time about convention and my first time there. It was incredible. Me and my 6-month-old hiked it out to Utah on a plane. We got off a plane. We were embraced into the Young Living family. We knew no one there. And just to see Gary Young tear up on stage talking about, you know, planting these plants and distilling the oils and just the energy of that convention, it was just incredible. And so from that moment on, no hesitation whatsoever that I wanted to share Young Living with everybody that I came in contact with. So, and part of that is really just infusing it into our lifestyle. I had no qualms at that point to bring it into every part of my lifestyle that I could afford. From cleaning, so, you know, the Thieves Cleaner, to nutrition, okay? So pretty early on, I started drinking Ningxia Red. I also will, so not my littlest guy, because he's still nursing primarily, but Ronan has been drinking Ningxia Red for a couple of years now. I usually dilute it just because he likes to suck it down. Like, you know, for him it's a juice. He doesn't get that, like, only an ounce is good enough. So Ningxia Red, we've used the Mighty Bites, which are back in stock, everybody. You know, those are fantastic. The chewable vitamin C's whenever we need the little immune support. Bath time has already been touched upon. I love following our bath time with a little bit of the Kid Sense lotion for that massage. It's just such a nice way to connect with my kids and to support their skin. Sleep. Naturally, we diffuse. I also, especially when the kids are little, sometimes you don't necessarily need to put the oils directly on them, but if you're wearing the oils, they're going to benefit from that. So, you know, sometimes if I'm oiling up or I have stuff diffusing and I'm not trying to overwhelm my littlest guy, I'll actually just put like a little bit of Tranquil on me, or lavender or whatever it might be, and they're going to benefit from that. So you can act as a diffuser for your kids too. And then immune support. I will tell you that before my kids go anywhere, there are other people, there's thieves on their feet. We use that to prevent all kinds of stuff. Like whenever they're going to be among crowds, that the thieves are on their feet minimally. And like I mentioned, the vitamin C, the chewable Super C, and I just love having these tools in my toolbox. it makes me feel so much more empowered as a mom that I have something to go to. So my husband's a chiropractor, and he takes care of, pregnant moms, babies, all the way up to, everybody. And so he always was able to adjust our kids if they need immune support and things like that. He can adjust them, but I love having my own tools that I can bring to the table that I can support my kids too. So together we make a really great team, and I love that. So that's a little bit of my story with Ronan. Now fast forward to my littlest, Gabriel. Gabriel was born just about a year ago, and it actually, unlike my first, Ronan was born without he was just, it was like super easy, low key, kind of like he is. And Gabriel was actually a traumatic birth. I spent about 3 weeks in the hospital. My water broke early, and I cannot tell you what I would have done without my oils. My oils helped support me. They kept me calm. They helped me rest. They supported me emotionally in so many ways. Spiritually, clearly, I was praying a lot. And so the oils helped keep me connected, and I know that they helped in immeasurable ways. And once he was born premature. He got oiled. He was anointed right away too. Maybe not in like as proper a way as Melissa did, because she she had sort of her way she knew what to do. But my little Gabriel was oiled right away as well. And he was preemie, so we started low. We went slow, and I used only the gentlest oils. Interestingly enough, April and Patty, you guys love Gentle Baby. Neither of my kids. Gentle Baby they don't respond to that very well. It's very interesting. So sometimes with oils, I'll just say some oils your kids are going to be different. They're going to react different ways to oils. And I could tell even Gabriel being a little preemie baby in the NICU, Gentle Baby was not his favorite, but he loved himself some frankincense and lavender. And so I really just stuck with very gentle oils. And I put them on just to soothe him, to support his immune system, to pray over him, and just to keep connected. And it supported all of us. He is a healthy 1-year-old today, and I am forever grateful to Young Living and to the tools that I had on hand and continue to have on hand. So that is my story. I'm happy to answer any questions you have about that, but that is, we use oils, we use the products, we use all of it, and as you can see in this slide, it really has become a way to replace a lot of stuff and bring it into our lifestyle. So, so that is me. And I'm sorry, I had to shut off my other sheet, so I don't know who's next. So Melissa, can you MC again?
Yeah, well, actually, I had a quick question for you. If you want to stop sharing your screen, I just wanted to ask a question as well. I wanted to ask you how much you dilute with your kids, because I know a lot of us dilute a lot with kids, and I know it's always recommended to start, like when you're starting oiling with anyone, to dilute. Just to make sure the response is good and nobody's sensitive. It's very rare, but I know a lot of people use the oils straight very soon. So I just want to see if you use the oils straight, where you use them straight, which ones you use straight, which ones you always dilute. And I know it's different.
Is this a trick question? I think you know the answer to this question.
Well,
okay.
You know that as soon as Ronan crawled, he went right over to a bottle and like the cap was on, but like put it to his feet. Like, so I mean.
Yes. So I tell everyone, start low, go slow, start diluting. You can always add more. If I'm being completely honest, I don't really dilute. And I didn't pretty quickly. Like because if I just sort of as an intuitive mom, I could see how they were doing with it, and I don't know. I don't. I mean, when it comes to the hot oils, here's the other thing, is I often do not put the oils on sensitive parts of their body. So most of the time I'm putting oils on their feet. So I just slap them on there. That's me. I'm really comfortable with that, and my kids are comfortable with that, and I know how they respond to them. Now, that being said, I'm not using super, I primarily stick to the more mild oils. So like Patty mentioned oregano. I haven't put oregano on my kids, and I would dilute because I know how that feels. But like, or on their feet, I wouldn't worry about it. So I use it on their feet. When I am putting oils on their back and things like that, like I have used like RC or some of the oils that you could dilute, and I just watch. I keep an eye out, and I know that they do well with it. I don't go crazy. I'm not putting like drops upon drops. Like, it's one drop, if that. And often, like especially with my littlest, with Gabriel, he wouldn't get a full drop. Like, even if I put it on meat, I still had most of it in my hand. Or just like with smaller animals, I would, it would almost be absorbed into my hands before I would touch him. So I sort of moderate it like that. Does that answer your question?
Absolutely. And just for new oilers, just to repeat, if you ever, it's very rare to have a sensitivity. It's usually if you're using too much of an oil or if you're using hot oil. But if you put the wrong oil on, like I went to put RC on my chest and it was Thieves by accident, which is a hot oil. There's lots of cinnamon and clove in there. So I put Thieves on my chest and I'm like, whoa, it was hot immediately. And my skin got red. Just know, don't wash it off with water. Don't wash it off with water. When you get oil in your eyes, you will at some point. Don't wash it off with water. If you have any kind of sensitivity, if you're sweaty and you put peppermint on, that's just like water, so it's going to get tingly. Just use organic vegetable oil, any kind of vegetable oil if you're who cares? Just any vegetable oil, but organic is best. And it'll feel better. Just if you get any kind of redness or irritation, just oil, and if you get it in your eye, as soon as you put oil in, don't rinse it with water. Just thought I'd repeat it again. Awesome, because it'll happen. I get peppermint oil. I get peppermint in my eye at least once a week. It's fine. All right, so thank you so much, Tara. I love that, and we'll come back. We'll have time for questions at the end as well for everybody. I'm going to head right over to Lauren now at the introduction. And Patty mentioned that Lauren has some amazing stories of how the oils have supported her and her son as they work with autism. So Lauren, if you want to unmute yourself, and I'll mute me, and we're super excited to hear from you.
All right. Hi, everyone. Can you hear me? Okay, good. So I started using essential oils with my son in about 2014. My cousin's wife, Dina, was doing kind of an event there at her salon, and she was talking about all the different uses for oils. And I've always been someone who's drawn to things that are natural over medication. So I figured, why not give it a shot? And so that night, I started using bergamot and lavender with my son. And immediately, like, with him having autism, sleep has always been an issue. So that night, he started sleeping through the night with a bergamot and lavender. Now, that was when he was probably around, he was 7. So he was sleeping through the night then with that. And then I continued doing that. I added in cedarwood right here, the cedarwood, and that kind of calmed him down even more. And then shortly after that, the Reconnect kit came out. Before that, I feel like it was much harder for my son to kind of learn in school, pay attention, focus. The Reconnect kit is really what I feel made a huge difference in his life at that point when he was 7 and 8 years old. I was using, in that kit, there's Reconnect, sleep Sleepy's, Sleep Jet, I don't even know how you pronounce it, but whatever, the sleep one, Genius, and In Touch. Is there an In Touch? In Touch, okay. So those are the ones that he was using at that time. And the Reconnect kind of like, it seemed like he was more aware of his surroundings while I was putting it on him, and I would put it on his feet. At first he was a little irritable, so I had to slow down a little bit with the Reconnect. Not the whole kit, just the one that's reconnecting it for some reason. In Touch he was fine with, Sleepies he was good with, Genius he was good with, but Reconnect for whatever reason had to take it a little slower, so I diluted that one. And I saw big differences. In addition to using the oils, I mean, he also gets therapy and TSS and all that as well. But I feel that the oils really made him more receptive to that and able to kind of connect with people more. After I used Reconnect for about a year, I used it. I started using just back to cedarwood, bergamot. I did have rutavala. We were talking about this the other day, Melissa. I found it. I still have it. So, and I put it on him tonight. So hopefully tonight's really good, because he did go back to not sleeping again, which is just part of the, you know, the autism, but everything else kind of stayed really good. But I put this on him yesterday and tonight, and he slept again. So we're back to sleeping. Thank you. Level 3, you said. Yep. So I'm back here with Rutavala, and he is sleeping. So that's a wonderful thing. But anyways, our time with him having autism hasn't always been easy, obviously. I mean, he struggles with communication. For a long time, he couldn't tell me anything he wanted. And I really think that essential oils like the helichrysum, I would put that on his head and on his feet. I noticed that helped with eye contact, communication. He's able to now use his iPad to communicate with me. He's getting very good at that. He has a wonderful TSS, Alicia, who is helping him with that as well. So all of this goes together. It's not just one thing. It's a part of his whole life, like you guys are saying, and we incorporate it in everything. But he's just able to kind of, before I couldn't really see his personality. And I think the biggest thing for me has been that I can really see who he is now. It took a long time for me to find something that worked for him. And this kind of just brought out, like, allowed himself to show through. And it allowed him to be receptive to everyone else in his life. And he just seems happy. So the fact that he's happy makes me happy. And that's what it is. That's why I love Young Living, and that's why I love the oils. That's it, Melissa.
I have like the shivers like all over. I just thank you so much for sharing. Some other people might have some questions too. I guess we could also wait till the end, but I know I had one or two. So I know the oils in the bottoms of the feet, and especially using the oils at night, because that's when the cerebrospinal fluid is able to help release toxins more and deliver nutrients. Did you do I know they recommended, like when you did the Reconnect kit, they often recommend putting it on the cranio sutures. Did you do that, or did you?
I have tried doing that before on his head, yeah, and on all the different areas of his head. And I do think that, like I briefly mentioned that helichrysum, mm-hmm. That one, for whatever reason, is helping support like his communication. It did for a while. I haven't been using it, but I'm thinking about adding it back in. I just can't stand the smell. So
nice.
Thinking about adding it back in. Obviously, I mean, like you guys said before, if you can't stand the smell, maybe you need it yourself. So I probably need it. And
I will say,
yes.
A trick that a friend of mine told me, just one or two, like sometimes you don't like the smell of something, and they say if you don't like it, you need it. If you find that either you or your child doesn't like the smell of something, putting it on the bottoms of the feet, especially if they're old enough to do it straight and it's a gentle oil, because if you put it on straight, it'll absorb like within 30 seconds, and then just put their socks on, boom, done. Because they do want you to put the oils on the cranio sutures often, but if they don't like the smell of it, you know, usually put it on the bottoms of the feet for a while, and then eventually they'll like the smell because they don't need it.
Yeah, he has no
anymore.
problem with any of these ones. It's more so me with the Helicrism. I think it just smells terrible, so I
It's
avoid it at
interesting.
all costs. But it was a big, huge thing for him, so I'm thinking about adding it back.
I know if I'm grouchy, I hate the smell of joy.
Okay.
But then if I'm in a good mood, I like the smell of joy. Very interesting. Good.
Yep.
Thank you so much. And I know.
Thank you for letting me share this, because I've
my
been wanting
gosh,
to for a
I
while,
know
and I
everybody's
haven't really
been
done it. So I love it, and I love essential oils. I love everything about them, and I love Young Living. I just haven't really. I've been busy, and I've been using them with my son, but I haven't really put it out there to everyone. So.
Oh, I'm so grateful that you're able to share. And I have a feeling at the end of this presentation, we might have a lot of questions if you're able to stay on.
Okay. Awesome.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you. Ooh, you're amazing. Okay, so I am going to mute myself, and Lauren could mute herself, and we're going to pass it on to Patty and Megan are going to round us out with some stories of how they use the oils, as well as what oils particularly to focus on for digestion support, neuromuscular support, learning support, emotional support. And I'm going to pass this on to Patty.
Okay, I'm unmuted now. I don't really want to follow that, actually. I love Lauren's story, and I've heard it before, and I heard it as it was happening from Dina, and every time it just makes me so grateful for these oils, and it just makes me really understand what a gift they are for all of us and our families, and so thank you again, Lauren. I think I'm going to start by sharing the oils to support a good night's sleep, because as Lauren pointed out, that's something that we want for emotional reasons and physical reasons. And Melissa and Tara both mentioned that when we're sleeping, that is when our bodies can detox, our cerebral spinal fluid can do its job. So there's just so much to go with having a good night's sleep. So I'm gonna share my screen here. Here we go. All right, so support for a good night's sleep. Some of our favorites. The font is a little wonky here, but I'm sure you guys can see it. You could take some screenshots, and if anybody has questions or wants these lists of oils, you don't have a pen and paper, whatever the case is, please just reach out to us. Lavender is our favorite. It's a bedtime staple around here, especially since I said we used it in the bath. The Tranquil Roll-On is now back in stock, so get it now if you're a member already. That's one of the ones you want to get before it goes out of stock again. Just a quick note on that, since plants are seasonal and we only use the best of the best, if a plant is not in season and an oil is not available, it won't be available again until that plant has a chance to grow. So that is something that we all kind of came to embrace, because the supply and demand is up to Mother Nature. It's not up to us. Sleepy Eyes is in the Kid Sense kit and the Reconnect kit. Rutavala Roll-On is a combination of ruta, valerian, and lavender. That's one that has an acquired smell, in my opinion, but as we said before, I probably need it. I don't get enough sleep, as much sleep as I should. Frankincense is just amazing for everything. Stress Away, again, that's the three that are in your kit are lavender, frankincense, and Stress Away. So if you're new and you want to support sleep, those are my go-tos. And cedarwood is really inexpensive. I think it's like $11 or $12 for the big bottle. So that's always one that when I introduce people to the oils, I always recommend they add that on right in the beginning, because it's probably the best $12 you'll spend. The next one is for a calm environment, very similar. So a lot of these oils are showing up on both for calming and sleeping, and that just makes sense, because when you're calm and relaxed, you can sleep. So Stress Away is on here, Lavender, Joy, Idaho Balsam Fir, and Tranquil again. Another reminder to get that while you can. And I'm a former high school teacher, I was actually able to leave my teaching career to help empower young people with natural wellness because of Young Living. So that's the abundance part of this amazing company. And when I was in the classroom, I was always sharing oils and diffusing them, but now I have a kindergartner of my own. And so to help him focus, one of my favorite oils is Brain Power, but I've noticed that Highest Potential, Clarity, Genius, even Lemon, those are all oils that really help him when we're doing homework and just getting focused. I know it's funny that kindergartners have homework, but it's true. And getting a 5-year-old to focus is always an adventure. You met him earlier, so those are our favorites for that. And again, this is a nice close-up of that Reconnect kit in case anybody is interested in the individual oils that come in there. And I'm going to hand it over to Megan because she is going to tell us a little bit about her little guy, Albert. She mentioned his journey, and for both of us, our boys are only 2 weeks apart. So we were pregnant together, we had our babies 2 weeks apart, and we became Oilers together. And I know Ian has only ever been to the doctor for a sick visit once in the past 4 years. So that's one of my favorite stories to share because immune support, proactive wellness is a whole new world for me. So the fact that I am succeeding at I do the exact same thing Tara does. Steve's on his feet no matter where we go, and I'm sure Megan's going to say the same thing. So take it from here, Megan, and I'll scroll through these slides for you.
Perfect. So like Patty said, I started because of Albert, and just like everybody else, we don't go anywhere without thieves. And what we do now that Albert is older is we have this little roll-on, and you guys can see, and it's a combination of thieves, oregano, and frankincense mixed with some grapeseed oil, and just already mixed, goes on the bottom of our feet in the morning, bottom of our feet before bed. And the only days we've missed from school this year were a trip to the beach and a trip to Kalahari. So pretty good knowing what everybody else's posts are like. In addition to the Thieves products is Ninja Red. And a couple people mentioned it already. We start our day with Ninja Red. We do a shot every morning of it. We missed it this morning, so tonight before dinner, Albert took a shot of Ninja Red. We used to have to mix it with orange juice for him, but now he's moved up and he just takes it straight. I like to add some oils to mine. I love Thieves in it because I like that spicy cinnamon part of it, but I also like lemon just because it kind of gives it a different taste. We also have nutritional supplements and the raindrop technique, so they're a little bit more advanced. The Thieves, the RC, and 2 of the Ninja Red packets come in the starter kit that you get, so that's super cool. Can you click? Thanks. Next up is digestive support, and for this one there are 2. There's the Digize, which is the adult version, and the Tummy Jize, which is the kids version. The Digize is more fennelly tasting, and the Tummy Jize has more of a spearminty taste. If you ask in our house, it's the belly oil. And one piece of advice I will give you is make sure if you put it on when you or your kiddos get out of the bath, that they're completely dry. The one time Albert got out of the tub and he needed belly oil, and we put it on, and he was not a happy camper. And I called Melissa panicking, and she said just to get coconut oil. So I have my big jar of coconut oil next to my bed so that if that ever happens, a little bit of coconut oil and it's good. And Albert's old enough now that he knows if an oil burns, we just put a little coconut oil on it. Like everybody else said, you don't ever, ever want to use water. Water will make it worse. But little coconut oil or whatever you have on hand works fine. And if you want to go ahead. The respiratory support is another big one this time of the year. We like to diffuse RC. It's a great one. It's got the 3 eucalyptuses in it, and it just smells really, really good. It's also great if you mix it with a little coconut oil on your chest or on your back to help support your respiratory system, or for your kiddos if they have a stuffed animal that they like to sleep with. If you take a drop and put it on your hands, and then rub it on their stuffed animal. When they're sleeping at night, they're inhaling it, and it's really supporting that system. And the Breathe Again roll-on is a great one to have. That's one, again, it's a blend. Keep it in your pocket, put a swipe on your hands, and just if you rub your hands together and take a deep breath in, you can really get the support you need for that. And the last one, the last system, is your neuromuscular support system. For this one, they have a couple different ones. They have the Deep Relief Roll-On, which was back in stock for our big sale. I stocked up on it. I love it. We went skiing yesterday, and Albert and I both were using Deep Relief this morning because it was our first day out on the slopes. But another great one is Panaway. And what I like to do with the Panaway is mix it with the carry oil, put the Panaway on first, and then layer on the peppermint over top of it. And it really just drives it deeper. And for some of our kiddos that need extra support in this area, you could mix any of these with a little massage oil, kind of like April and Tara and Patty talked about, and give them a massage and, you know, really get that contact and really support their systems and get them feeling great. And the other two, before I turn it over, are my two favorites. They are not in the starter kit, but they're ones that I have not been without. They're the original Peace and Calming, which is back in stock now if you do an ER order, and the original Valor. And the Peace and Calming kind of speaks for itself. We diffuse it every night. We put it on Albert's feet every night, and it supports his sleep and our sanity. And the other one is the Valor. This one helps support a positive outlook. It also wards off negativity, and it's great in a spray to spray around the room in case the boogeyman comes. So that's all I have, and I'm going to turn it back over to Melissa, I believe.
That's right. And I love that you said it supports his sleep and your sanity. That's definitely FDA compliant. All right. Awesome. Patty, if you wouldn't mind just keeping your slides up for me,
Okay.
then I don't have to go through mine. So just to wrap it all up before we take any questions, Young Living really is a lifestyle. And we talked about oils and products that are supporting not just these systems in our body, but our nutrition, as well as having less toxins in our environment. So I know most people on the call tonight are already oilers, and I know Young Living has hundreds of products, but we really tried to point out oils that you might already have if you have the starter kit, which is our what the Everyday Oil Kit, which is our most popular starter kit. But for those of you that might not be members yet, I just wanted to go over that you can order any of these products retail or wholesale. And when you order underneath a sponsor, and your sponsor is who introduced you to Young Living, maybe who sent you an invite on Facebook to this event. They might even have a link on their invite. Your sponsor is your first line to education, your first line to customer care and questions, especially regarding ordering. So retail, you could order retail whenever you want, retail pricing, but wholesale, most people choose not just because they get 24% off and the option to take advantage of essential rewards and free promos. People want the wholesale account because there's these awesome kits that are below wholesale cost. So if Patty, you go to the next slide, I don't know if you guys could see my mouse, but the most popular kit, which we were referring to, is the Everyday Oil Kit. And it comes with actually 11 oils that we pointed out, and your choice of diffuser. Most people go with the Dewdrop diffuser. That's the most popular diffuser. But once in a while, somebody wants to really just focus on nutrition, so they'll go for the Ninja Red kit. So their family could be stocked up on Ninja Red and start making that a part of their health regimen. We didn't talk too much specifically about Ninja Red, but a shot of Ninja Red is like equal to like a lot of cherries and grapes and berries and carrots, and has all this vitamin C. It's like a pound of wolfberries, basically, the nutrient value. it's a full like body nutritive supplement. And I personally do a shot or two a day. And that's what, it's a liquid little supplement that comes either in bottles or pouches. But if you want to get started and just focus on having less toxins in your environment, you might want to start with the Thieves Kit. That, you know, comes with the Thieves Cleaner, and that cleans every surface of your home. And the different detergents, the toothpaste. We didn't talk so much about toothpaste, but let me just say one thing. If you're about to start the journey, and you could unshare the screen, I guess. If you're about to begin to start your journey of having less toxins in your world, don't let it be overwhelming. Just start one little step at a time. And if there's one thing to change immediately, is your toothpaste. Because if you have something that you're putting in your mouth, we may have mentioned that if you put an oil on the bottom of your feet, within 26 seconds, you could detect it in your, is it 26 seconds or 21 minutes? You detect it in your hair follicles pretty quickly. You absorb sublingually even more quickly. So if you're brushing your teeth with something that says, if you ingest more than a tablespoon of it, call poison control, that's a great place to switch, to change your product to something more natural. And the Thieves toothpaste or the Kid Scent toothpaste, you know, just from the integrity of Young Living, that any of the products don't have artificial anything, and are good for, you know, you could trust them. You know, shampoos, conditioners, but also the Thieves Cleaner, not only is it green, but it's and toxin free, but it's also beneficial and supportive to immune system and respiratory system as you use it. So the stuff that you're cleaning with, the personal care products that you're using, just little by little, I invite you to start changing them out, because having less stress on your body and your endocrine system will definitely be a game changer. So if anybody has any questions, we would like to open up you could unmute yourself by going either to the bottom of your screen or the top of your screen, and we're happy to take some questions and some answers.